that not?
Yes.
Matthew 18:18 says, whatever you bind on earth is bound in heaven. Whatever you lose on earth is loose in heaven. We went back to read Proverbs chapter 18 verse 21 that says, death and life are in the power of the tongue. Beloved, looking at that subject that I told you earlier, the power of spoken words. Words are very powerful. Words are very important. One of the greatest instruments that God has given to humanity is the tongue. You might think it is your mouth that is speaking, but it's actually your tongue. A tongueless man cannot speak. A tongueless person cannot make sounds. So you need your tongue to make pronouncement, to produce sounds. Okay, one of the times we were in school, we were taught consonant sounds and vowel sounds. And some of them, there's a way you place your tongue in between your teeth to be able to pronounce it. It means even if you are teethless, there are some sounds that cannot come out. Like one of my friends those days, he fought so much that all the teeth here, he lost it. So if he's pronouncing some of these words, he cannot pronounce it. Why? Because the tongue will not be properly placed. Where the teeth is supposed to block the tongue will protrude out, so the tongue is not balancing. So the tongue is a factor. If you must speak, if you must pronounce, if you must exchange sounds with people, your tongue is very important. That is why the Bible did not say the power of life and death is in the mouth. He said it is in the tongue. Because the tongue is the agency that produces sound in the human mouth. However, it works with other agencies, but it's the primary agency that produces sound from your mouth. The Bible is trying to caution us. It's telling us that that tongue you have is not only meant, can you change seat please? Come and sit here. It's trying to tell us that the tongue you have is not only meant to chew food, to eat nama, to eat suya, or to drink ice cream for some of our ladies. Not to like ice cream, not to like yogurt, enjoyment. And that is not what the mouth and the tongue is meant for. The tongue is meant for something more superior. The tongue is meant for something more. When I'm teaching and you don't pay attention, you will miss it. My teaching is progressive, so if you miss any part, you want to struggle. But if you can follow me, you always go home blessed. You have a witness in the house?
Yes.
If you always follow my teaching, you go home blessed. But if you play along with me, you will miss it. Okay? So that tongue is very powerful. So the Bible is cautioning us that you as a believer must learn how to use that weapon. Because it is a weapon you have. That weapon can either make you or mar you. That weapon can either add to you or destroy you. That weapon can either increase people around you or reduce people around you. Have you not seen people that because of their mouth, they don't have friends? Yes. They don't have people around them. People are avoiding them because of the kind of mouth they have. Sharp tongue, sharp mouth. There are people, what they know how to do is to bear false witness. What they know how to do is to gossip. If you want your story to get to Madala, just tell them that. But if you don't want it to get to the junction, please don't tell them. Anything you tell them, the first thing you will tell them, say, no one, I won't tell anybody. Yes. Before you say Jack, obviously, 5 people have heard it. When you control, they say, no, now my brother I tell. My brother tell the brother tell the friend, the story don't work out. What am I trying to say? They say, there are some people you can never confide in. Because the tongue that God has given them as an instrument of positive creativity, they've changed it to become an instrument of destruction. So you have that tongue, God gave you for a purpose. And the purpose of that tongue is for creation purpose. God gave you that tongue to create. I'm going somewhere. He said, my water upon. God gave you that tongue to be able to create. He didn't give you just to eat. It's true that you can eat with it. It's allowed. But that is not the reason why God gave you. So, back to what I was saying. The tongue you have is majorly for creation. You'll be asking me, are you God? I thought God is the creator. So why is Pastor saying God gave us his tongue to be able to create? If the Bible says, whatever you decree here on earth, you decree in heaven. Whatever you bind, whatever you loose here on earth, same will happen in heaven. You know why? Because most times we are waiting for heaven to act, and heaven is even waiting for you to act on earth. Because heaven will not move if you don't move. Heaven will not take action if you don't take action. So that Bible verse alone is teaching us that if you are saying, God, I'm waiting for you, God is saying, I'm waiting for you, Deborah. I'm waiting for you, Damilola. I'm waiting for you, Bichi, to take step, to say something. But yet you are saying, God, it's you I'm waiting for. But God is saying, whatever you bind here on earth, it's waiting for you to bind it first. Then you now say, Amen, in heaven. Let it be so. But we have left our duty to God. We have left God's duty to Him. God has His own responsibility. Meanwhile, you also have your own responsibility. So don't push your own responsibility to God. God has His own time, He has His own way, He has His own place of acting. And you too have your own way, your own place, your own time to act. So don't leave your responsibility to God Almighty. You are complaining that things are not working because you are leaving your responsibility to God Almighty. God has given you a tool, a weapon in your mouth, but you don't even know what it is. You don't know the capacity it carries. And you shall decree a thing, and it shall be established. So heaven is waiting for you to decree. Heaven is waiting for you to say it. I'm going to build the foundation. Heaven is waiting for you to command that thing. He said, calling things that be not as though they were. Your money is not yet there. But the Bible is saying, call it. It's not there, but you are calling it to manifestation. The husband, the good husband is not yet there. But God is saying, call it to manifestation. Sickness is ravaging the home. God is saying, bind that sickness. If only you can stand and bind that sickness, heaven will stamp it. Because a son or a daughter has spoken authoritatively on the earth realm. Heaven is waiting for you to speak, to bind that situation, to conquer that challenge with your tongue, to speak against that Satan that is afflicting your family, to speak against that Satan that is afflicting your destiny. Instead, you are misusing that tongue for another purpose. Remember, one of the teachings I taught you is that when the purpose of a thing is not known, abuse is inevitable. Yes. When the purpose of a thing is not discovered, you will misuse it. If I don't know that the purpose of this microphone is to amplify my voice, you know I can use it to do something else. One day, one person here was using it to play drum, or using it to clap hands. He was misusing the purpose of that thing. It was not meant to be a drum. It is meant to amplify my voice. So when you don't understand the dynamics of how this thing should work, you can use it to do anything. The small child can use it to be playing. It is because you have not known the power in your tongue. That is why you use your tongue to gossip. That's why you use your tongue to curse people. That is why you use your tongue to speak evil over yourself even unconsciously. There are some people in this country, in particular tribe, if I start talking about it, you go there. They know how to speak negative. I don't know if it's an inheritance. Okay, forgive me if it's your language, but you will agree that it's true. The truth, I don't know how to do it. Sometimes I like their music very well. What try to speak that thing. What will help us? Modano, that's how they speak in the movies very well. Modano, I'm finished. They are finished. They are dead. These are negative. How can you be calling death to yourself?
Negative attitude.
For them, it's an exclamation. For them, it's an expression of shock, of tension, of relief. But it is negative. And Satan is always going like a roaring lion, waiting for you to bind on earth so that they will see it in heaven. He's waiting for you to make, because he knows that if you bind it by speaking it, speaking is one of the ways to make a decree. Speaking is one of the ways to pass judgment. A judge in the courtroom does not force anything to happen if he has not spoken. He cannot declare somebody a criminal or guilty. How does he do that? He will speak. He said, this person has been found guilty of this charge, and his other sentence to life imprisonment or death by hanging. The judge did not carry God to enforce anything. It's just by mouth. That is how your tongue is so powerful. He is speaking from his office. You as a believer has an office you are speaking from, whether consciously or unconsciously, because the power is already in you. The authority is already in you. So it's either you are conscious about it or not. It doesn't matter. What matters is you need to be careful of what you say. say. Most of the things we are passing through, it is self-inflicted because of the way we have spoken, because of the things we have said. You have told yourself, my own too much, I cannot make it in life. I can never succeed. No, success. A lot of people have said it. The person is sick because of this thing says, and this sickness will kill me. You know, I was watching somebody posted, I don't know if you know that Mr. Ibu is dead. I was watching a video, one pastor posted it that the other day. I don't want to mention this name because we are blind. So, the man Ibu was joking with the pastor, say, I don't suffer. Say, as I hold me like this, imagine how my dead body will be. Jesus. Hey, this is my face. If I die, how my face will be. He was joking. I saw that video last week. But we didn't know that very soon that statement will become a reality. I'm not saying he called death. What I'm saying, he was saying that casually. But he didn't know that day will come when you watch and look at his face in a dead state, and he was need to make a jest that he's ugly as he's alive. How much more if he's dead? How will his face look? He's the one saying it. But that now is a reality already. Everybody will die someday. That is my belief. What I'm trying to say is that there's power in your tongue. You need to know it first. Because you don't know it, that's why you're using it carelessly. Some of you insult each other carelessly. You call it joke, but it's not joke. It's not joke. As in the one movie I watched, I like watching it so much. You were acting. You were acting in the person's. I don't remember how the thing went now. There's this man group of juju that they get, and they took you to that scene. That house, the man's house, to act. And they didn't know that the person that brought it is really the thing he brought. And everything you say in that house, everything you say without you do work. So they acted in that in real life. After they acted, they brought that juju and kept, and the couple, they were acting as a couple in the house. They were not saying, this couple in this house, if they do this and do that, may they not have children. They didn't have children. They spoke, and that juju was in that house, and that juju stamped that thing that any couple that is living in this house, by the time they do this and do that, they didn't have children. And after they finished acting, they left. And the real couple that is in that house, they don't know what happened. They just felt they gave location for actors to act. They didn't know that words had been spoken, and the deity was transported to that place. And because that deity was visible, when that statement and pronouncement were being made, that deity stamped that thing and stamped that ground that any couple that lives here, if they do social thing, they will never have children. The couple didn't know because they are not actors. They only gave their house out for people to use to act movie. But they were being revised for a careless statement made by ignorance of the actors. It was until God had to help them and reveal the source of their challenge several years later. That's when they now knew what went wrong. So by the time you are calling that person, show to Yahweh, say you don't grace, they mad, this one is wrong with you. For you is joke, for you sincerely is joke because you don't mean it. But the spirit realm, they don't know joke when it comes to speakings. There's no careless word in the spirit realm. There's no joke when it comes to decree and pronouncement. God did not give you the tongue to use it to joke. He gave it for serious business. I told you for creation. We'll get there, but I'm going somewhere. So you need to find out what you have in you, know how to use it, and know how not to use it. That after this service, you become a new person. You stop using your tongue negative because everyone asks for mercy after the service. So you learn how to use that your tongue that God has given you. A lot of us has made that mistake several. There's one time I went to minister somewhere, and the Holy Spirit began to minister to me that there's a young person here, and the challenge is passing to is what he said carelessly when he was dating somebody. The way when you're in love, you can see useless things and you don't mean. Okay? If I leave you, may I not prosper. If I leave you, some people say that I will never leave you from this time. If I leave you, my leg bend. I'm saying it carelessly, out of hot emotions. So that person has said that in his past relationship. If I leave you, may I not succeed. If I leave you, may I not prosper. And eventually, you will leave that person one day because you don't even know tomorrow. It's just a relationship. It's not marriage yet. It's not even courtship. And you're making such pronouncements. The person said it, he just thought it's what he used to deceive the girl. Because guys do that, they see different things that they don't mean to deceive young, vulnerable ladies, to trust them and to believe them. Then they get what they want from them and they discard them like pieces of rice. So the Holy Spirit began to minister to me that is what that young man is suffering from, what he has said in his past relationship. And he didn't know that that word was held in his spirit. Because sometimes when you say it, there are either demonic beings around or angelic beings around. If it's positive, the angelic beings carries it to heaven. If it's negative, the demonic beings around carries it. What we say is that if there's no spirit being available when you're making those pronouncements. So because you don't see the spirit, you don't know the spirit that is available when you're making that statement. You don't know the spirit that will carry it and go and bet it in the spirit and makes it a reality. That's why parents are advised never to curse their children. Yes. That's why parents are advised never to speak negative over their children. Even that child is giving you pain, be praying for that child. Even that child is causing you tears, be speaking positive over him. A day will come, that positivity will manifest into her life. My wife is an example. She always tells me that her mother will tell her, you marry a pastor, you marry a pastor. She will be laughing the mama, I love the woman, laugh her. She will call the girl at the church, laugh her. Say, what's that pastor? She will laugh, say, nah, you don't feel walk. You don't walk, I mean, never walk.
Don't walk.
And she now thinks she's wise. She don't know that God is wiser. When God will now bring the man, she's not going to pastor, the pastor, God will now disguise the man. That time he will meet you, you know, the pastor. But you don't enter. As she knows that I'm into the ministry thing, but officially I was not the pastor, so she never thought, she just thought, I just saw this church, maybe just did it. She didn't know. We married in November. 6 months later, I was ordained a pastor officially. Yes.
God disguised that.
Exactly 6 months, 7 months after the marriage. Where she want to go by?
She no won't quit.
So the mama will talk, the positive talk never work. It don't work. But she didn't actually want it, but that's her destiny. But what am I trying to say in essence? Words are powerful. Never underestimate what you say. The woman, even someone was saying it repeatedly, they were laughing at her from where, but she knew what she was saying. She has seen it in the spirit realm, and she was saying it, decreeing, and it came to pass. Imagine if that one was speaking negative over her life. You think it will not come to pass also? So you need to be careful how you use your tongue. It's a weapon, and that weapon is very powerful. Whether you are conscious or unconscious about it, it's not what matters. What matters is once you can use it, it will produce result. The result might not be visible immediately, but the result will eventually come.
Yes.
The result will eventually come. So when you are in that difficult situation, don't allow your situation to determine what comes out of your mouth. Genesis chapter 1 verse 1. Let's go there. Let's see how God created and how He wants you to create, to use that your tongue for creation. God is a living being, is that not?
Yes, sir.
He said, in the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. And the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep, and the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters. Verse 3 says, and God said, let there be light, and there was light. So when He wanted to form light, He carried bomb, bring them together. What did He do?
And He said,
He only spoke. That is the kind of God we serve, and we are His offsprings. He created us in His image and in His likeness. So He wanted to create light. He only came. He said, because of who I am, because of my office and the power I carry, I will only stand here and say, let there be light. And light, no born and where He appeared. Verse 4. He said, and God saw that the light was good, and God divided the light from the darkness, and God called the light day, and that. Let's go to verse 6. He said, and God said again, let there be a firmament in the midst of waters, and let it divide the waters from the waters. Anything He wanted to create, He only come out and say, let it take place. He's too big to come out and start molding. He said, let this take place, let this happen, and everything was happening. Let's leave it down because of time. And verse 9 says, and God said again, let the waters under the heaven be gathered together unto one place, and let the dry land appear. And it was so. Everywhere God created on earth was water before. But God said, no, this cannot be like this. And I want water to gather one place, let there be dry land. And he only said it, and it happened like that. So we now move to verse 10. And God called the dry land earth, and the gathering together of waters he called the seas, and God saw that it was good. Verse 11. And God said, let the earth bring forth grass, the herb yielding seed, and the fruit tree yielding fruit after its own kind. And that, and because of time, let's go to verse 14. And God said, let there be light in the firmament of heaven to divide the day from the night, and let be for signs and for seasons and days and for years. And let's move again because of time. Verse 20 say, and God said, let the waters bring forth abundantly the moving creatures that have life. For God to create fish and every aquatic animal, God only said, he spoke to the waters. He said, water, I command you, bring forth animals within you. So every animal you saw, what you are seeing today inside water, inside the ocean, God just spoke and they came to manifestation. He didn't have to come and start creating anything with his hand. He only spoke to water. He said, bring forth animals after your own kind. So different animals started erupting from the water. Now, God bless them in verse 22. And the evening and the morning, yes, verse 24, he said, and God said, let the earth bring forth living creatures after his kind, cattle, creeping things, and the beasts of the earth after his own kind. This is a wow. So God spoke to the earth when he wanted to create animals. He said the earth should vomit animals after his kind, animals that can only survive on land, that cannot survive on water. When he wanted to create animals in water, he spoke to the water. He said, water, bring forth animals after your kind that can only survive in the water and not outside the water. When he wanted to create the ones that will stay on the land, the ones you know, the chicken, the turkey, the goat, he spoke to the land. He said, land, you have the capacity to hear me. I'm speaking to you. Bring forth animals after your own kind that can survive on the face of the earth. What a God we serve. So he now move further in verse 26. Now, he wanted to create man. He didn't use his mouth to create man, but he wanted to still show us that in creating man, he will still have to speak. So who did he speak to? He spoke to the Son and the Spirit. The Bible is saying in verse 26, and God said, let us make man in our own image and after our likeness. Let them have dominion. So he wanted to create you. He knows that you are not animals that he can speak to the earth to vomit you. You are not fish, shark, and the rest that he can just speak to the water. He wanted to create somebody like him, somebody that will carry the capacity he carries. Today, God cannot speak and it will manifest. It's not possible because he was not made like God. So God spoke to the earth to bring animals after their kind. He spoke to water to bring animals after their kind. He wanted to create man. He spoke to the Trinity to bring a specimen after their own kind. Are you getting my point?
Yes, sir.
He spoke to the Trinity. He said, no, I have spoken to the earth. The earth has produced animals like him. I have spoken to the water. The water has produced animals like him. Now I want to produce a greater version of an animal that should be like us, and I need to speak to us so that we can join hands and produce that person that he will function like us. So God has the ability to speak and creation will take place. You too that was made after his kind has the same ability and capacity to speak, and your words will create things. Your words will create changes. Your words will create impact first in your life and to the lives of people around you. So you have now realized that the tongue you have, mainly God gave you for creative purposes. God gave you that tongue to create with it, to call things that be not as though they were. God gave you that tongue to decree a thing here on earth and to establish. God gave you that tongue to bind here on earth, it will be bound in heaven. To loose here on earth, it will be loose in heaven. God gave you that tongue to look at your situation. Whatever you know you don't like, you don't want to see, you speak to it, and that situation must obey you. He gave that tongue to prophesy positively into your life and into the lives of people around you? How many of you that live together woke up one day and you looked at one person, you say you prosper, you are a light, you are a city set on a hill, you are not a failure, you will not fail. As you go out today, you make so much money. How many of you have ever done that? How many of you have done that to yourself? You look at yourself in the mirror, you speak to yourself. You see, this might not be the version of me that I'm waiting for, but I know that a better version of me that God is bringing. This person is standing and appearing in the mirror will not fail. It's not a failure, it's not a loser. If when people are saying as a casting down, I will not say it as a casting down, I will say it as a lifting up, because my economy does not operate here on earth, my economy is from heaven. You look at that person in the mirror and prophesy to that person, prophesy to the future, say you will never make mistake in life, you will not marry the wrong person, you will not die prematurely, you fulfill your destiny. How many times have you ever done that? If you have never done that, it's not late, you can start today. There's always a day to begin something new, something positive. God has given you that mouth to speak. It's not to fight, insult people. That's not why He's there. That's not why He's there. Know what you have and know how to use it. Your tongue is very powerful. God did not make a mistake by putting it there. He will have put the mouth, your tongue in your back or your head, but He put it in your mouth. Because He knows that if all of them come together, they will produce positive sounds.
Yes, sir.
So learn what you have. That's number one. Number two, learn how to use what you have. Your tongue is for creative purpose. It's not for destruction. It's not for pulling people down. It's not for gossiping. It's not for telling lies. Some people can pull down people with their tongue, with their mouth. They pull down everybody with their mouth. They want everybody to go down because they want to rise. They lie against each other so that they become the preferred. Even siblings even do that against each other. Time is really going. The question now, how do we decree the right things? That's what we need to ask ourselves. It's important we decree, make pronouncements, positive ones. How do you do it? What are the steps that will guide you? Number one, you need to live holy. You need to live holy so that your words can have power positively. Because when your life is filthy, heaven will not recognize you. Heaven will not recognize your voice. It's demonic agent that recognizes you. When you are saying things positive, angels will not pick it up because it's coming from a filthy voice. It's only when you speak negative things that Satan will hold it against you and will take it to the court of heaven. So number one is that the first step is that we must live holy. We must be pure. It's not negotiable. Lifestyle of purity will help your ways to be very powerful. When you speak over people's lives, it will come to pass. When you decree over their life, it will come to pass. Satan cannot hinder it. Because it's coming from a place of righteousness. It's coming from a life that is sanctified and is pure. It will have clear passage to the spirit realm. So it must be pure, it must be holy. It's not negotiable. Okay? So, number two, what must you decree is that you must decree what you want and not what you are seeing. You must decree what you want and not what you are seeing. You might be seeing poverty, but don't decree poverty. Don't say that so we did. For our house we get poor. For our house nobody is making it. That should not be your confession. The situation might not be good now, but speak positive. Speak what you want to see, not what you are seeing. Did you copy that? Speak what? Number one, what must you do? The right ways to decree the right things. Number one, you must be holy. Number two, decree what you want and not what you are seeing. It's important. Don't allow your sight to affect your voice. But let your voice eventually affect your sight. Did you get that? Don't allow the situation make you speak negative. But let what you say will do something better in the future that you eventually see it. The fact that you are not seeing it now does not mean it cannot pass. It is waiting for you to speak. Heaven is waiting for you to make a decree. Now your business can change. If only the